Today I wanted to go into how to make your low end consistently, big, impressive, yet remaining dynamic and open as you might want in your mixes. And I'm trying to create my house sound, as it were, on my mixes and my music and my creative artistic approach to heavy metal and whatnot in a minute. So I've recently come across a particular plugin that's allowed me to get the bass dialed into a reasonable level. Okay, so not having it really loud in the mix, but also allow me to enhance the subharmonics, the bits that you feel it's just got that weight in the mix. And the danger of just lifting the bass track up too much, you can see I've got my bass on minus 13 dBs there, is that you can pull it up too high, then you get too much of all the bass. I mean, you can EQ it and stuff like that, but it's the subharmonic bits that you want to feel. For modern heavy metal, it's that cinematic, atmospheric massiveness. So let me quickly let you listen to the plugin. So this is Subsynth by Brainworks, and that's in the Plugin Alliance store. So this particular plugin, let me put it on for you now. So we'll turn the plugin off, so it's off now. I'll turn it on the second pass. So I would encourage you to listen to this on some headphones, pretty loud, and or on a full range system like some monitors like I've got, or a sub. So let's just listen to that again going round. There's certain notes where that sub end has just got some really mighty presence. And let's turn it off. Okay, so we're off already. You can hear it. It's distinct, it's clean, it's as I was intending to record it, and sounding good in the room isn't enough. In a mix with all the other things you've got going on, the interaction between that and the kick drum and things, it's got to maintain that artistic weight that you wanted. So again, one last time. This is a bit off, and I'll cycle it on and off now. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just turn this one off so I don't ruin the mix I've got. I'm quite protective over when I've made decent steps to my mixes. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you this Subsynth plugin, and then I'm going to show you just the other trick I did with the Isotopes Neutron. So this is this Subsynth plugin. So you can see there, hopefully that's big enough on screen. I've got it as big as it'll allow at the minute, I believe. Yeah, you can't enhance it. So you start off basically. So let's put it in solo. You have these three controls here for different frequency bands: 50 to 60, 56 to 80 hertz, 24 to 36 hertz, 36 to 56 hertz, and you basically have to adjust these input levels there to the point where you start seeing some presence in there, like in the greens. So we put them in, and once you get them to a certain level, you then trim them to the point where, right, that's what you like. And overall, after that, you can blend the amount of mix. So it's currently 100%. You can blend it. You want it to have some noticeable, but not all on impact. And we'll go through that in a second. And then squeezing it, a bit of compression. I tend not to touch anything else, but if you really want to cook it, there's a subharmonic, you can crank that too. So let's just leave that at 50 for now. So you can click on them with the dials or do them like that. So we'll leave everything as it was. And so let's just play this bass now. So I'm going to slowly crank up this frequency here first. It just gets in the middle. So already in the room, I can feel that starting to feel thick, and then we'll trim it a bit. Okay, then let's go for the next one. That's starting to make the room feel big again. A bit more. Trim it. Okay, good enough for me. And then the last one. That's sounding huge. A bit more. So it just sounds massive now. So if you've had too much, you're going to get to the point where you've just added tons of sub-frequency stuff. So you can pull it back. I normally add about 50, 60, 70, something like that. And then we turn it off. It sounds really thin, doesn't it? Then it sounds massive again. So already we've kept the tonality of the bass guitar the same, but we've added in all this lovely low frequency stuff. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to squeeze it and compress all of this stuff a bit. If you wanted to add drive, you could do this. I'm going to leave that off. If you wanted to add more subharmonics, that just feels ridiculous. Okay, so with all mixing, it's all very well, it's sounding good in isolation, but how does that sound in a mix? Okay, so I've turned the original one off, I've got that one there. So let's put it back in, let's turn it off. So I can hear the basses there, I'm listening very carefully. let's turn this on. I think that almost sounds better than the one I had in before. Let me compare that, was quite good. That's thereabouts. Anyway, so this plugin is really good for things like that. So that's that particular consistent part of a track. But the reason this plugin becomes worth its weight in gold is because certain, if you imagine the bass guitar, let me go and grab one. Let's grab the bass guitar. Okay, so we've got the bass guitar, right? So when we're playing like the open strings, I've got a pick there. So we're playing the open string. As soon as we start getting somewhere at the neck, the interaction and the harmonics start to become different. So a note played up here, it's got nowhere near as much low end as a note down here. Okay, so you, despite it being relatively close to it grammatically, you lose a lot of that weight. So this plugin and things like, I think it's G bass or R bass from Waves, do exactly this, that whilst the note wise isn't too far up, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 semitones, I feel when I get around about here, you've almost lost that ridiculous weight. So I tend to drop tune it and open string it to get that weight, which is what you find in a lot of modern metal. So on pieces where you've got a passage where the bass goes up and down a bit, where's our bass track? So we just solo that. So that's with this subsynth on. We turn it off. Let's get a loop in place there. So with it on, with it off, sorry. So it sounds quite thin. Put it back on, and it just really just comes at us again. But it stays open and dynamic. That's the beauty of it. Turn it off again. It kind of just disappears, and this is going to be like a chorus bit as well. So you want the energy. So let's put this back in the mix. So let's turn it, let's leave it on and then I'll turn it off. Okay, turn it off for the next bar. So it's off now. Back on. Then off. Back on. Okay, so it just adds that weight that you're after there, and I think it's a really impressive plugin. Very simple, very easy to use, but has the desired effect. So once you've got that in, one thing I do then is I've put it through a limiter, which I'll capture in other videos, and I have been doing throughout my mixing. So the subsynth is key to my house sound, or my kind of what I want for my bass and low end management now, is that I'll put it through this one. So just to do this again, I'll turn this one off again. And I'll add Ozone's Unmask. So it's a really simple one. You can do this via sidechain and EQs and things like this. And I've mentioned this before, it's really a go-to tool for me now. So I want to just get it out of the way of the sub. So sub bass and sub kick, that's the preset I'm going to use here. I'm going to put that on, and I'm just going to look on here in a minute when I'll just match it up to my sidechain, which is my drums. So I want the bass out of the way when the kick drum is playing, which is only quick transients. So that's going to do that. So it's now on that. So when this plays, I'm going to look for where the kick drum energy is here. So that's it there in purple. So I'm just going to slide this down to where it only affects that kick drum. So it just drops off there. Okay, so we've got all that extra subsynth stuff going on now. Put it in order. But it's staying out of the way of the kick drum. And the same for our earlier section. Because the important thing is we've added loads of subharmonic content there. Which is good, but we don't want it on completely overriding the kick drum. As you can see, the kick drum in the purple line is living very keenly below the below the 100 hertz. So that's like 65 hertz as a fundamental. So we can't have the bass bass guitar just standing on top of that. So we just temporarily knock it out the way, and this is what this Unmask does. You see the orange bar there is basically ducking every time the kick drum goes. So what we've done there is we've increased the amount of sub bass in this bass track, but we haven't just done that. Like, we haven't just pulled the fader up. We've changed the interaction with the kick drum as well. So when we've got our kick drum, so if we pull her up every time the kick drum's going, let's see if we can keep an eye on this. You'll see. So there's the kick drum. You'll see here that every time that beater goes, it will also be showing you that there's some ducking going on here. And then we get to our chorus section. Okay, so that sums up what I wanted to show, that this is becoming a big part of what I've been trying to get my mixes to sound the way I want them. So I've remastered 3 of my recent tracks, and I'm close to putting out an EP of like 5 tracks at the minute, and then followed up by some more to bake the full album. So this is gonna hopefully help a few of you to get that really thick, thunderous, low bass guitar you're after, without simply doing this, where your mix falls apart. Okay, that's what we're trying to avoid. So you're having it, you've got the presence, but you're unmasking it against your kick drum, so the interaction is there. So you don't have them both knocking against each other. You have the kick drum when you want it, which is quick transients, and then you have the bass guitar creating the groove. All right, cheers guys, see you next time.